Hey guys, welcome here to our Retour 2020. We're here in Florida Machinery. My name is Manny Turnus. I'm the owner here. And I'd like to start off by saying thank you for everybody joining us today here so early. And we're going to get started with some servo. We're going to talk about a little bit about servos. Most of our customers ask us, you know, why we have a $55,000, $60,000 machine and why do we have an $85,000 machine? What makes one machine over another $35,000 more? And we're at Holz-Her here. We like to talk about servos. We're a very servo-driven company, and this is pretty much the easiest way, the best way to get us to do the right radius that we want. So we have materials here in Miami, Florida, where we might be running maybe today a 1 millimeter radius. Tomorrow we need to get to 1.4 millimeter radius because our tape is not actually a 1 millimeter radius. So when you work with a servo machine, you can automatically program every single thickness as a program on your edge bander, and there's no need to going into the hood and moving your Seco counters. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So here we have a 1057. It's a Seco counter machine, and now here we have a 1327. It's a fully automated servo controlled machine. Okay, so if we want to get over here, let me explain to you what a Seco counter looks like for those that might not know what a Seco counter looks like. So this is what we call Seco counters, okay? So each of these are operating either our shoes, our routers, our heights for our copy wheels, okay? All these need to be changed from when you're running 1 millimeter material, just moving up a couple 0.4 of a millimeter of material, you need to change these Seco counters, okay? Especially when you're running flat tapes and radius tapes. So this is what a 1057 looks like. This is a common edge bander. It's what most people start off machine end up buying, and it's a lot of manual movements, a lot of different numbers you have to have in mind so that the product comes out flawless. So each of these operate one thing. So this is your top, how much you're eating height, your routers, how much radius, and this is your shoe, how much counter pressure you need against your piece. So all these have to be calibrated correctly, all three, just for the top radius to come out right. Also the bottom three, and there's one actually all the way at the bottom also that you might not see there, but there is one there. And also you have to get back down there and manually move them to position. So let's go around and let's see what a servo motor looks like. So these are new high-speed servos. They're very accurate, most accurate probably in the business. Anything black that you see is a high-speed servo. All the rest of the servos, this is also a high-speed servo here now, and our pressure rollers. Now, unlike the 1057, where you had a lot of Seco counters, now here you have these gray boxes. Okay, these are servo motors. This is what makes the computer in the controller move from 1 millimeter to 0.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters. So these servos, you have three like the other 1057 machine. Once again, they all do the same operation, which is top, copy wheels, and this would be for the routers, for the radius. So there's a big advantage of running servo machines. One is speed. You don't have to go into the machine to regulate the Seco counters. As you saw in the 1057, you may have 10 counters that you got to regulate. So you got starting off from the pre-mill, you got to go to your pressure rollers, you got to go to your routers, your top router, your bottom router. You got to go to your corner router. You got to go to your scrapers. Now you have a lot of adjustments you got to make. In a small shop, it might work for you, but good 10, 15 minutes setup time per machine, where you can go to a computer, press a button, download the program, all these servos will go into position, and now you have a very accurate radius. And that's what you're always trying to achieve. So let's get started. Let's run a couple pieces. Let's run on a 1057, and let's run a piece. So now, once you calibrate all your Seco counters, you have all your accurate measurements on your dials. Now you got to close your hood, prepare the edge banding for position, and now you're ready to run a part. As you know, Holz-Hers have the quickest heat up time in the business, just about a minute. So we had this machine not running for a couple minutes. You'll see within a minute time, our green light will turn on and you are ready to run pieces. So one of the things, if you're adding 1 millimeter material and you cut a part to 14 inches and you want your part to be 14 inches, the first thing you want to do is you want to set up your Seco counter for your pre-mills to 1 millimeter. That way your actual part will be true to size. So let's start by that. So on a Seco counter, you don't want to move the same 1 millimeter to 0.5 tape. So what I just did was I went back, I go over and come back. That way, 0.5, I come back to 1 millimeter. That way we have an even loss of thread as this machine gets older. Within 10 years, you're only moving in from 0.5 to 1 millimeter tape if you're only using 0.5 to 1 millimeter or even 2 millimeter. Well, this thread is a real fine thread. So you want to go over, come back, and now give that thread a good, even stroke where you do not waste just that 0.5 to 1 millimeter thread. Keeps your edge banding very accurate. Okay, simple setup. Now we're just going to go ahead, run our production. We're going to measure the beam. We're going to measure the piece. This piece is a 19 millimeter piece. You're going to put your piece according, your beam height according to your height of your thickness of your board. It's going through the pre-mill, pressure rollers, gluing, have top and bottom routers. Sorry, end trims go first, front, back. Now you have your routers going through the scraper, radius scraper. Now you have your flat scraper. Now you have your buffers. So we just threw a piece to the 1057. Textured material, probably the hardest you can run on an edge bander. You have textured on the top and as well as your edge banding, without any need to clean the panel after the production is done. This is the advantages of our Holz-Hers. That's why we sell. We talk a lot about our glue jet system, our glue jet technology. And this is what makes us different from everybody else out there. It's not owning a glue pod where you have very bad glue quality. This is basically a small heat system heating about 7 millimeters of glue at a time, just enough to pass it through your panels, and now we have fresh glue. So there's no burning of glue, there's no opening a glue pod where you see all these different colors. This is all bad, broken down glue. So now let's try this with a servo machine. So we got the same setup here, same tape, same color. The difference is now we're going to go into a program. We're going to go into our program screen. And here we have a couple different programs. We have a number 1 glue test program. We have our 0.5 tapes. We have our 1 millimeter tape. And we have a flat tape, 1 millimeter, no radius. And now we have 1 millimeter with 1 millimeter radius. As you need different millimeters and different programs, you can add on programs. We have about 250 programs that you can add on the list. Some people like it by material. Some people, companies like it, put names on it. We keep it very simple. We keep it with the radius that you need on your part or the thickness of the part. In other words, 0.5 tapes flat, so it's going to be for your flat tapes. 1 millimeter tape, it's going to be flat. The second option, you're going to have 1 millimeter radius. And if we have any material that we purchase or that you purchase, and you have a 1.5 millimeter, 1.3 millimeter tape, you can measure the thickness of the tape with a caliper, quickly change the radius you like to achieve. So right now, I like a nice radius, over 1 millimeter radius. I go 1.5. But if I like, I can just go ahead and put 1.8 millimeter radius. Or I can just run my 2 millimeter radius. If I want to run 3, I go ahead and put up to 3 millimeters. And that's as easy as it gets. So once you have all this programmed in the system, you save it, where you come back to this and you can run it time and time and time again. So the program you save today will be this program you're going to run today, you're going to run it next month, you're going to run it a year from now, 3 years from now. You can actually build a program for one specific color, run it, save it. Customer comes back and says, "Yeah, my door I need to change this door now." Okay? You can go back into the system, find that color, and you can run it right away, just the way you ran it that day you ran it the first time. So here we're going to quickly load a program where we want to run our 1 millimeter side 1 and 2. On edge banding language, side 1 and 2 is always not activating the corner rounder or the second operation. Mostly used, this is mostly 1 and 2 is mostly used for cabinet sides. 3 and 4 is mostly used for anything that has to do with 4 sides. Most of the time is to do doors. So quick, we're going to go to our program file. We're going to download the program. The program is going to be entered. I know it's number 6. It's telling me, okay, I was at 19 or 20 millimeters, my previous panel. Now I'm going to go down to 19 millimeters. Is that okay? I want to reset. Yes. We want to be running that program. Go back to your home screen. Press a button, green button. Now everything goes into position. For my pre-mills, no longer do I have to adjust my pre-mills. Go into the pressure roller, adjust my pressure rollers. No longer do I have to adjust any of my sequel counters. Everything is calibrated right now to 1 millimeter. And you're ready to run the part. So here we go. So as I'm chasing the part, once again, servos on the pre-mill units. There's high-speed servos on our pressure rollers, our end trims are just on a park position. No need to have servos on that. And now we have our Moto 6 positioning servos where we can actually even bevel if we need to. Some guys that do mica, they want to just lightly kill the mica, don't want to really give it a radius. Give it a 2 degree to 4 degree, 3 to 4 degree bevel, and you're good to go. Once again, comes out of the Holz-Her 1327. No more need to cleaning. This part is perfect for production. So let's turn this off a second. Now, let's say I'm adding 0.5 tape now, and I no longer want to use my 1mm program. So now we go back to the screen, our program screen, pick a program once again, side 1 and 2. We load it. We always like to go back home screen, that's where our data's at. And now, with a push of a button, within 20 seconds, all your servo positionings are changing. Now we're ready to 1.5 tape. We're actually using 1mm tape, but it's like it's a flat panel, flat radius, doesn't make a difference. So, with a touch of a button, you basically got a 1mm radius, and you got flat radius within 20 seconds of pressing a button. So when our customers ask us, Manny, why are we paying $30,000 more for a machine? We simply tell them, you're buying servos. You're buying quickness, you're buying accuracy, and if you're a shop that might run 4 or 5 different types of kitchens a day, you're running solid wood strips, you're running 1mm edge banding, you might be running 3mm at the end of the day. Well, you might want to invest in a servo-driven machine. It is not only accurate, it is fast, and it's consistent. And those are 3 things our customers look for. So, in the last couple years, our 1057 has become one of our top sellers, has always been our top sellers. In the last couple years, I would say our 1327 is catching up to be our top seller. People are understanding the importance of servo machines. And this is why we want to bring you this video. We want to show you the difference from when you make a purchase, you make the smart purchase for your company. It's not always a money-driven cost purchase. At the end, what costs you more? In a shop that's maybe running 5, 6 different productions a day, 5 different thicknesses, 5 different edge bandings, your cost is way more expensive on a 1057 over purchasing a 1327. Your downtime is about 5 changes, about, let's say, 10 minutes per color, per edge banding change. Now you have 50, 60 minutes in a day, an hour wasted of your time just playing with your Seco counters. Maybe the guy forgot to put 1mm on one of them. Maybe he left it at 2 or 3. Guess what? Now you have a bad piece. Now throw that piece away. It's not going to be accurate. It's going to over radius the piece. So now you have costs on that. When you go to a 1327, it's virtually, unless you pick the wrong program, all the information that you put into this system will be copied time and time again. let's go into the screen a little bit, talk about how our servo system work. So let's start with an 1881, which is our pressure beam. Right away, you see there, debit, it is at 19 millimeters. If our material is at 16 millimeters, the operator would have to put 16, enter. It's going to tell you beam height. It's a safety we have in case every time the beam goes down, we want to let you know the beams go down, for that way nobody catches their fingers or get hurt. And now you have the same program, but now it's at 16. So we just changed from 19 millimeters to 16 millimeters. We're running a complete different program, and it got done in 20 seconds. Let's move on to something a little bit more complicated. So now we have our routers, our top and bottom radius routers. So on this program here, if you can tell, we're running 0.5 tape, 0.5 tape. And we're at 11.5 millimeters in the tooling. Another thing I like about Holz-Her machine is you can actually play with that debit value. So if you've been running 11.5 millimeter on that point of the tooling, and you've been running it for a year, now you can move that position, and let's run it at, we were running 0.5 tape, we can go to 10.5, 10.6, and now we run it at a complete 1 millimeter difference from what we were running it before. So now you have a better brand new tool. So you can change your tooling position as you need it, as your tool gets worn down. So running 0.5 tape with 11.5. Once again, we're at 0.5, 11.5, top and bottom router. Load a new program. If you look at the screen, now the numbers changed. Now you have a 1.8, you have a 1, you have a 1.8 again, and you have a 1. So now we're running 1 millimeter. We need it for our copy wheels. We need 1 millimeter of pressure to hold the piece down. There's no vibration as the radiuses our motors are radiusing their material. And I like to go over my material. This is a 1.5 material. I like to go over about 3 points because I like a little bit more radiuses. So you can actually choose how far of a radius you want by pressing just a simple button. Also, the thickness of the material can be changed by just pressing a simple button. Once again, about 20 seconds, not even, 4 or 5 seconds away, boom, green light is on. We are ready to run production. So that's why there's a $35,000 cost from one machine to another. What you're buying here is technology, and what you're buying here is not a bad unit. We saw a lot of them. People love them. It's just, if you're a small shop, you're doing 1 kitchen a day, maybe 2 changes a day, this is definitely the option for you to buy. If you're a bigger shop, medium-sized shop, you need to run 4 or 5 different kitchens a day. You can be changing materials, changing colors, changing manufacturers. This is the way to go. This is the purchase you want to make. Make a smart purchase, not on the initial cost of your purchase, but make your purchase on the long-term cost of your purchase. So now you can decide for yourself what would be the accurate machine to purchase for your production, for your shop. Also, Holz-Her does do a buyback program. Our machines, if you look over the internet, they tend to not depreciate as much as our competitors. These machines are very wanted in the used machinery industry. So if you were to purchase a 1057 and you grew out of this machine, any Holz-Her dealer will connect you with Holz-Her, and Holz-Her does the buyback program where they will buy back the machine at a very good cost as long as you purchase a new Holz-Her machine from them. So it's not like you're purchasing the 1057, I might not need it, I might need it, I might not. Well, if you think this is the purchase the 1057. As you grow in a couple years, let Holz-Her buy back your 1057, and now you can get into a servo motor machine. So these are the big key advantages from one machine to another. Once again, .5 tape, press of a button, position is moving, V-belts are moving, white light is on, we're ready to go. So once again, we've been changing in this conversation we've been having here. We've probably changed 4 or 5 times. If we were to do this on a Seco counter machines, it'd take you a couple minutes. So stop this machine. Let's try it on a 1057. So if we're running .5 tape, we got to adjust our pre-mills, 0.5. We got to go back to the pressure roller, and we're at 1 millimeter right now. We got to move up to 0.5, between half the line between 0 and 1. And now on your shoes, you would need to be 0.5, 0.5. Top and bottom. If you're running textured material and you have, let's say, white gloss material also, you have different heights. You just can't eat the same as you eat on a flat material as you eat on a textured material. Why? You have 1,000 little bumps. These routers are moving up and down. So this is why you see your dials at 998. We're giving it 0.2 of a millimeter, so that way we're not so close to the flat panel, but now we're looking at more of the high spots on our material, on our panel. So typically, if we will be running anything that's just a solid, no textured material, no high gloss with the tape, peel out tape, Seco counters usually are at 1. The moment you're running textured material, you would need to come back and go to 998. So you need to move the top. You would also need to do the same on the bottom as well. And now you got to change your radiuses. So you got 3 dials you got to play with. Another thing that happens a lot, we run a lot of high gloss material. So our customers have a flat panel, but now they have about 0.2 of a millimeter clear film over the top of the panel. So what happens? If you're copying on your zeros, what's going to happen is you're going to have 0.02 millimeters, 0.2 millimeters of material that your edge banding is going to stick up above your panel. So on these machines, we do completely the opposite. So we want to eat more now to cover the distance of the height of the material, of the film. So now textured material will be a 998. We're giving it 2.2 less. Flat material with no peel coat on the top would be 0. And now your peel coat would be on a 2. Now you have a nice, smooth edge banding, not higher than your panel, not 0.2 higher than your panel. So these are the calibrations that need to be made on a daily basis. If guys are running high gloss material, then the next order is textured material, and then they go back to, now we're gonna run just side cabinets, very flat, so now you have 3 adjustments. On top of these adjustments now, you gotta go to the scraper units. You also have to do the same at the scraper units. So just about everything you did for the routers, you gotta go back to scraper units and calibrate all these dials, just the same way you did before. 998, textured material, 1 millimeter flat material, and your high glosses would be around there, 0.2. So there's a lot of different calibrations one has to make on a machine that is not a servo-driven machine. So this is kind of the old technology, I would say. This is how it started off. We have improved over the years to new technology, more accurate technology. It's basically a servo motor is what they use on the CNCs to accurately measure your depths. So it's 0.02 accuracy. It's not even in the woodworking industry. It's more for the metalworking industry, but we'll take it. Now let's do the same process and start a new program as well on our 1327. So once again, we're gonna go to our program screen. We're gonna put our radius. We are gonna download it. We are gonna go to our home. And now, let's go to our pre-mill. So let's say we don't want to run. We don't want to eat 1 millimeter material anymore. Let's say for whatever reason your operator cut the piece 1 millimeter short. So now we don't want to use the pre-mill anymore. So with a simple 0 enter, your pre-mill actual value now is going to change from 1 to 0 within seconds. Now we're ready to go run our 1 millimeter tape with 0 pre-milling. Let's say you want to run 1 millimeter pre-mill again. With a touch of the button, with no need to stop the machine, with no need to exit out, and we got 1 millimeter true pre-milling gonna be shaved off our piece. When the piece comes out of the edge bander, it will be true to size. We added on a millimeter, we took off a millimeter, and now your piece, if it's 12 by 14, 10 by 12, your piece will come out 10 by 12. Let's go to our program screen. So we just had a program right now without having any textured material. So like I said before, textured material, we want to be 0.2 of a millimeter less. That way we don't eat the 0.2 of millimeter on your panel. You got a lot of jumps there. You got about 0.2 millimeter of height difference from your flat spots to your high spots. So in this case, we go up 2 millimeters, 0.2 millimeters. .2. Enter it. Now we run production. You ran the panel through the machine. You liked how it looked. Now let's save a program. We're going to go to our program file. We already have all the data from the program from the previous program. All we're doing is making small calibration, small moves calibration, whether it's a 1.4, radius, 1.6 radius, also the heights. In this case, we were running textured material. The previous programs were for flat material. So I'll go to my next number available, open up our keyboard, and now I just want to let the operator know it's going to be a textured material. Or you can call it Edgar whitewash, whatever color you would like to choose, whatever name you like to choose. Now, I just saved the program. So now I have 1 millimeter radius textured side 1 and 2. Now, I want to make the program for corner rounding, because now we want to do 3 and 4. Now we activate our corner rounder. That's really all the difference there is from program 1 and 2, side 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. From there, we already have the program set. Once again, set up 3, 4. So within a matter of seconds, we've created 3 programs. We created a new program for our textured materials, and with the data needed to accurately, time and time again, run this program, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it will be going back to the same position. If you look at your actual values, 1 millimeter. And now, it did save the information, the data that I wanted it to save. So once again, it's a 1.5 millimeter tape. I like a lot of radius. It's up to the customer to choose how much radius he wants. I like a lot. I take it to the extreme. I know we can get to 2 millimeters. With 2 millimeter tooling, I can get to 2 millimeter and not into my panel, but achieve a better radius. Or I can go back down and now I just did the same program. I changed the radius. The customer doesn't want so much radius. I don't really like it. Give me less radius. You can, with a couple seconds, change that programming to your customer's liking. Gonna go back to the home screen. We're going to do just about the same thing, but now we're going to add on a program for our high glosses. Once again, our high gloss tape board has a sealing film, if I can get to it. And this film does not let your radius become flush with your panel. Your copy wheels are copying on top of this film, and it believes, the edge bander now, that you're copying on top of the panel, not on top of film. So once again, we're going to set up a new program. All we got to do in this program, we're going to run the same 1 millimeter radius. We're going to run same pre-mills. We're going to do the same pressure rollers, same scrapers. All we're doing is now calibrating the difference for the tape. So we're going to go to our routers. Our routers are at 1.6. We don't want it to eat that much now. We need to respect the tape. Actually, we need to eat more. We want to eat under the tape. I apologize. So now we're going to go our 2 points up. 2 points up. Enter. And now we have a 1 millimeter program for our high gloss panels. Go back to our home screen. Bring back our keyboard. Let's take away that texture. and we're gonna put gloss. So now we have a 1 millimeter radius, high gloss, side 1 and 2. One and two program. You take off the corner rounder. I was actually using program 3 and 4. Scroll up. We use a scroll up button because we just don't want anybody to override the program. So we have a scroll up button. There pops up the program screen. Your save program asks you, do you want to save the program? Yes, I do. And now we have a 1 millimeter radius, high gloss, side 1 and 2. Let's do the same thing for 3 and 4. So once again, 3 and 4, the only thing you're activating is your second operation, whether it's your corner rounder or bevels on a 0.5 tape. So in this case, we're running 1 millimeter material, so we're going to activate our corner rounder. Our corner rounder is activated, green light is on, go to the next available slot. Now we're going to run program 3, 4, scroll up. Ask you again, do you want to save? Yes, we do. So now within a couple minutes, we've actually added about 6 different programs to this machine. So it's pretty easy to do. One quick last thing. If you're between programs 1 and 2, the new softwares recognize the difference between program 1, side 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. This is something new that we have at Holz-Her. So if you're at your home screen and you're at 1 and 2, you can just touch a button, and within seconds, you just got your 3 and 4 program. Once again, we're starting with your 1 and 2. Quick button. Now your programs change. If you look, your corner rounder disactivating. Your corner rounder is activating. Quick little tool here for your operators. Want to go to program screen? Easy way to find a program. If you want to reset your times, your pieces. If you're charging, you're cut to size. You're charging per piece. If you want to know how much your cost is to run a job, you can actually get a true cost with this machine. Why? You know how many pieces ran through it, how many meters, and the time it took your operator to run these pieces. Reset that real quick. Let's go back to 1 and 2. And now you have program 3 and 4. As you see, the programs in the computer are changing to the top, to the bottom. Now let's go to our flat tape material. We're going to download the program. We just changed temperatures. We just changed beam heights. We just changed servo positioning. Just about everything in this machine got changed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on these, instead of having your corner rounder activated, now 3 and 4, the difference would be you're actually, if you have 0.5 tape, you cannot corner round 0.5 tape. You need to start at 1 millimeter radius. But now what happens is, instead of having your bevel straight, we bevel a 5 degree, and now we have a nice chamfer at the end where our materials match with a touch of a button. One of the important things we like about Holz-Her is our number one program on any machine we install would always be our glue test. Why? At the beginning of every day, yesterday could have been 95 degrees here in Miami. Tomorrow could be 104 degrees inside a warehouse. So you want to do your glue test every day. Our number one program would be a glue test. So every morning, before you run your production, you want to make sure you have a good glue line. Now all the servos are getting out of the way. And they're going to their park position where they're away, where there cannot, nothing would touch the panel. And now we want to run a glue test. So this is one of the things we want to show you. So there is no glue on the bottom of the panel, no glue on the top of the panel, no glue at the end of the panel, on the two ends. But there is consistent glue from the top to the ends. From the top to the bottom of the panel, from the bottom to the top. We're running clear glue, transparent glue, so it might be hard to look at it or see, but you have great glue coverage. So guys, thank you for your time. I know today's a busy day, especially on a Monday, but we wanted to show you the difference, why one machine is priced out more expensive than the other. These two machines just do just about the same things. They both have all about the same stations. At the end result, it's the same. And we wanted to show you why you're paying more for a servo machine. So that way, when you make your Holz-Her purchase, you make your right decision. Thank you. We appreciate you. Have a great day.